Good morning, evening, whatever the time it is. How's everything going, Brollies? In today's video, we're going to unbox and build a fun little custom keyboard in the form of the Libra Mini. The Libra Mini is a 40% ergonomic mechanical keyboard made out of acrylic and features a quite unique thumbstick. I gotta tell you right now, this one is intimidating at first, but in reality, a super easy and fun keyboard kit to build. With that being said, let's get into it. Alright, so before we start, I just want to say thank you to Paul, aka Tech2Poly, for allowing me to build this keyboard. Paul is actually a local keyboard and mouse technician / modder here in the Philippines. You can check his page using the link below. Now, as you can tell, the packaging is pretty simple, just a brown box with all the components of the keyboard kit inside. I cannot quite remember where he got this, but I'll put a link below if you're interested. So inside the box, we have all the acrylic parts, the bottom, the sides, and the top covers, and even the feet are made out of acrylic. For the switches, we'll use the Aflion inks, and then right here we have all the screws and standoffs, the thumbstick, and the feet and sides also made out of acrylic. And to match the case, we're also going to use some clear keycaps. Aside from that, we have the stabilizers and the PCB already conveniently put together by Paul. This build should be pretty straightforward since the board is just hot swappable. The first step is of course to peel the acrylic covers, then insert the bolts and screw threads, stack the acrylic pieces together, and screw them with screws. Pay attention to the surface of the acrylic and make sure you put it in the right orientation. Do the same thing for the two sides of the body, bolts and screw threads, then screw them together. After that, we can start installing the stabilizers. These are screw-in stabilizers so we can place them on top of the PCB itself. We're only using 2 for the split spacebar layout since Paul wants to split the backspace into 2 keys instead. Next, screw in the standoffs for the plate, which would be 4 on the left side and 5 on the right. And then screw the plate on the standoffs. Quick disclaimer, you should also have an aluminum plate that comes in the package, but Paul wants to use the acrylic plate instead, which has its pros and cons that I'll share with you later. Now once the plate is in place, we can now install the Aflion ink switches. Pretty straightforward since the PCB is using hot swappable sockets. After that, we can now install the gaskets on the top and bottom of the plates. This will isolate the sound coming from the typing gestures, minimize the plastic-to-plastic contact, and makes the overall typing experience softer. Next, install the daughter board which has both the controller and the USB port into the front and back stacked acrylic, then secure it with the side stacked acrylic. Make sure you use the right length for the screws so that you won't damage the acrylic plastic. These are quite fragile and easy to crack, so be careful. After that, we can now place the PCB and plate combo on top, making sure the gaskets are properly lined up. Now honestly, I made a mistake here by putting the top cover first before installing the thumbstick, so don't do the same thing. Luckily, it's super easy to do it again. After securing the top cover with screws, we can now connect the cables from the daughter board to the PCB. I know I showed you earlier that Paul already pre-connected them, but I had to disconnect them again earlier to easily install the switches and install them inside the case. Make sure to pay attention to the orientation. Next, install the acrylic feet underneath the bottom cover and stick the rubber feet using its built-in adhesive tape. And lastly, place the bottom cover on the case and screw it with screws. Again, pay attention to the length of the screws. I actually made another mistake here with the sides. I put them in the wrong orientation, so I had to flip them around, but should be pretty easy. Now, as you can tell, with the acrylic plate, it's super bouncy, which is nice, but later on, we found out that it's too flexible that the switches can easily come off while typing. So I suggest you use the aluminum plate instead. But if you can modify it in any way that you can keep using the acrylic plate, maybe some switch pads or something, this is how flexible it is, which is super soft and bouncy. Now, I didn't have a lot of time to play around with this, but I'd say it's really fun to build this. During my time with it, to be honest, even though I'm already used to using an Alice-like layout, I find it hard to use this keyboard, especially due to the lack of function rows and other keys, not to mention the lack of legends on the keycaps and the significantly taller height and angle of the keyboard. But I'm pretty sure with a good amount of time and adjustment period, anyone can enjoy this little ergonomic keyboard. Now before we end, here's a quick typing test for you guys. And there you have it guys, thank you for watching. Huge thanks to Paul for letting me build this. I'll put a link below so that you can check it out. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you appreciate this video, and see you next time. Have a great day guys, you're awesome.